So will Bolsonaro's leadership usher in a new economic era in Brazil? And what about its relationship with the rest of the world? Let's get some insight from John Sitilides. He's a geopolitical strategist for Trilogy Advisors and a consultant to the U.S. State Department. John, thank you and a Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year. Great to be here.
Let me begin with Brazil's domestic problems. Most importantly, its economy trying to recover from the country's worst recession. Can Bolsonaro, who's made pretty ambitious promises, can he really turn things around?
Well, he's certainly going to give it his best shot. And we're talking about very strong new economic policies towards deregulation, towards privatization, towards a whole series of reforms to try to move the country in a proper direction. It's failed the people of Brazil for so many years, especially the last 10 years when there was all of this hope of Brazil being a leading force as one of the BRICS countries, and that's utterly collapsed. So the economic progress, I think, is going to be the major test of Bolsonaro's success as a leader, but he's also upending Brazilian politics in ways that are going to lead to great uncertainty in the months and years to come.
What do you mean by that? How is he going to do that?
Well, first of all, he's calling for a very strident law and order platform inside the country. There's concern that he's allowing for extrajudicial killings of criminals by police forces. He's also very strong pro-military with a country that has a very military, authoritarian type past. And so people are comparing him to, say, Duterte of the Philippines, or even Mohammed bin Salman of Saudi Arabia. And there's concern that he clearly respect human rights and keep Brazil from moving in an authoritarian direction, even as he moves it forward in a very positive direction in terms of opening up the economy to investment and reform.
You know, just with all the things that you mentioned, I find it surprising that his approval rating, according to one poll, is 75%, and that is the latest number to the run-up to his inauguration. Does that surprise you, considering how controversial and polarizing this man is?
I don't know that it's polarizing. I mean, keep in mind, this is a country that has an absolutely failed economy, and public safety is probably the #1 concern. Remember, he won on the slogan, "Enough is enough." So he expects the economy to deliver for the people of Brazil. And we're talking about a massive country here, 208 million people in a country just slightly smaller than the United States. But the crime rate is through the roof. It is an unacceptably high homicide rate. Criminal gangs have taken over major neighborhoods in the large metropolitan areas, and people want order and they want an opportunity at economic prosperity. He's offering a very unorthodox platform, but the last two presidents of Brazil have completely collapsed in terms of corruption, and the last one, Rousseff, was impeached in 2016. So it's a very different, very unorthodox way, and I think it's why so many people are comparing him to Donald Trump and his election victory in 2016.
Before we're talking about Trump, if we have time, I got to ask you about China's relationship with Brazil. China, of course, is Brazil's largest trading partner. When he was running for office, he made some pretty controversial and critical comments about China. Then he changed his tone, calling China a great partner. He also welcomed Chinese investment, invited more trade between the two countries. So clearly mixed messages here. What do you expect under Bolsonaro in terms of its relationship with Beijing?
It's difficult to tell what precise path he's thinking of here, citing the controversial statements that you just referenced here. But I think the thing to look for is, first of all, how does he keep the economic direction moving properly, where he wants it to be? You can't do that by utterly disrupting relations with your #1 trading partner. But I think also he wants to see what the U.S. is coming to Brazil with. Secretary of State Pompeo will be discussing trade, investment, liberalization, and America's concerns about the very strong China-Brazil relationship. I think he's looking to hedge his bets, see how he maintains very strong trade ties with China, but also open up Brazil to greater American influence and investment.
It could be a delicate balancing act there between China and the United States and Brazil in the middle. John Sitilides, thank you so much.
Great to be here.